Hey everyone, welcome to the Hornet King channel, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys a day in the life of the Hornet King when I go to 2 separate appointments for 2 separate clients out of my 12 appointment day, where I removed 2 different eastern yellow jacket colonies from someone's house. One was in Westchester, Pennsylvania, where I removed the eastern yellow jacket colony from someone's floorboards, where I had to cut the nest out and remove it, and the other one was at a client's garage where they were noticing yellow jackets flying in and out from the outside, but also getting them inside the garage around the light. So I cut the nest out of the wall and removed it and brought both nests home and fed them to my animals, to my 2 emus, my 12 chickens, and my Rhea. Here's the video, guys. Check it out. I'm the Hornet King, and I removed some incredible and insane wasp nests. So I had a client reach out to me who was getting yellow jackets inside of her bedroom. She couldn't figure out how they're getting into the living space, but she could obviously see the yellow jackets flying around outside, entering through a brick joint. So I set my vacuum nozzle up there to try to vacuum up as many of the foragers as I could as I did the removal from the inside. So once up inside of her bedroom, looking out the window, you could see the yellow jackets flying into that brick joint. So I couldn't hear any activity inside of the wall cavity, so I just decided to put my ear on the floor to see if I could hear any yellow jacket sounds inside the flooring joist bay, and I could. I could hear it was absolutely booming inside that flooring joist cavity. So I bang on the floor and try to get them stirred up, and I could hear them clear as day, so I knew that I had to extract them through the floorboards. This house was made with plaster and lath, so to try to cut through the plaster and lath of the ceiling below would have caused a lot of expense to the client to try to find a plasterer who could fix that. So we both decided the best thing would just be to go through the floorboards, which I make an inconspicuous cut, and I could just put the boards back in place, and you barely could even tell that I was there. So prying up the floorboard, you could see a bunch of activity coming out. They were instantly coming out to attack. And since eastern yellow jackets, or Vespula maculifrons, they're a super sensitive and defensive species, they were coming right out and latching onto my gloves, onto my suit, onto my veil, before they would fly back to the window to try to get outside. They're attracted to the light, so once they're in a living space, they're going right to the light to try to get out. And I started opening up this flooring joist wall. Unfortunately, the floorboards, when you pull them up, since they're tongue and groove, they're really difficult to get out without making a bunch of vibration, and a ton of them got sent off. So they were instantly coming out of that flooring joist cavity and flying and latching onto my gloves, latching onto my veil and my suit. And it is a little unnerving when you know that this species is going to be a latching species, because they also try to get into any kind of little nook and cranny into the suit. So right where my veil connects to the suit itself, there are 3 zippers there, and there's a little tiny hole that is right underneath the main flap that covers the zippers, and they're able to crawl up underneath there and get into my veil. So I've been putting duct tape there, but this particular time I didn't put the duct tape on, and they were able to I had one get inside my veil and was flying around. Luckily it didn't sting me or anything. But you can see the activity, how they go right to the window, and that's where I just vacuum them off from and just try to get the numbers down inside the bedroom as I'm doing the removal. It's really not super necessary because they're just going to be stuck there at the window anyway. But I don't know. For me, I just like to try to batten down the numbers while I'm doing the removal itself. So getting ready to start pulling out the nest itself, I vacuum off as much of the envelope and expose some of the comb, because there's still ones that are in between the layers of comb, because this colony had anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 yellow jackets in it. So not all of them are coming out to attack all at one time. So once I start hitting the top of the nest with the vacuum nozzle and stuff, you can see there's a bunch of them still coming out and attacking me and flying all around. And just seeing all of the activity in between these different layers of comb, it just shows you just how dense these populations are. And being that eastern yellow jackets are actually a little bit smaller of a species compared to, say, German yellow jackets or southern or baldface, their nests and their population are more compact into a quote-unquote smaller nest. If this nest comparably would be about the size of a beach ball or basketball with German yellow jackets. So pulling the nest out, and you can get to see inside this cavity where all the envelope is. Without the comb there, you get to see all the workers and all the males and things that are still kind of hunkered down inside those envelope layers. So I just started vacuuming off. I actually wanted to take this nest apart, and that way I could get everybody out from in between the layers before putting it in the bag. I've been using these mesh bags, which are great because it keeps everybody alive long enough when I get home that it's not all soggy and nasty inside of, like, say, like a plastic bag. So I do want to take the comb layers apart and vacuum up as many of the workers that are in between the layers as possible. All right, so start pulling the different layers apart and vacuuming up as many of the workers and guards and stuff in between these layers. Now, they're not all workers and guards either, so there's a lot of males that had hatched out of this nest, and the males are freeloaders. They don't do anything. They don't guard the nest. They don't defend it, nothing. The second you start pulling nests apart with a lot of males inside of it, they just try to fly away or try to crawl underneath into any kind of like nook and cranny that protects them. They're not trying to do anything. So any ones you see flying out of the nest and attacking me or something, those are all females. So continuing to take my time here and using a little wood chisel to try to separate the layers of comb. And you can see there's just so many individuals in between here. And I'm trying to be gentle too, because, I mean, people will think that my vacuum is weak because it's not just ripping the nest apart. I'm holding it kind of at a 45-degree angle to the comb, so that way it's not just sucking up the comb. It will absolutely suck up the comb and destroy it and suck up all the larvae that's in between the layers and all in the comb itself, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why I hold the vacuum kind of at an angle and just trying to vacuum up the workers that are on the comb. Eastern yellow jacket comb is super, super brittle. It is very, very delicate. So when I'm pulling it out of its space and stuff, I gotta be very, very careful that I'm not just crushing it and breaking it apart or vacuuming it up with the vacuum itself. So just continuing to be gentle here, pulling apart different layers and exposing the last few. I think there's only 2 more layers of comb on this nest. So I'm sliding that chisel in between the layers. What I'm trying to do is break the supports. There's like little tiny pillars of supports that hold the combs certain distance apart from each other. So then when I'm sliding a tool in between there, I'm breaking those supports off of each layer of comb to separate the two. So this part can be a little bit tedious, especially when I'm in someone's house, because I'm trying to get the removal done within a timely fashion because I got so many other removals to do in the daytime. But the thing is, if I leave all these yellow jackets in between the layers, then when I get the nests home, I have to put them in the fridge for a long time to cool them down so that way I can get the layers apart later. Or I have to put my suit on when I get home, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So I'd rather just vacuum everybody up here now and then put them in the bags and then take them home. Now, even though I vacuum up all the workers off of the layers of comb, there's still going to be ones that hatch out. By the time I get home about 6 hours or 8 hours later, there's going to be a lot of workers crawling around on those comb because they are hatching out constantly. So you can see there's a lot of other nests inside of this bag, so it's not just the one nest. There's probably about 5 or 6 nests. I think I did about 5 removals before this one. And so then the last bit of damage control is just vacuuming up all the workers off the windows, going around the room and trying to be as thorough as I possibly can to make sure that I get as many of the yellow jackets out of her bedroom. I don't want anyone getting stung after I leave someone's home. Looking underneath into the flooring joist bay, you can see that there was a couple that are still lingering there. So I did vacuum them up, and I did spray a little spider and scorpion spray into the cavity to try to just kill anything else and block any kind of pheromone that's in there. So returning foragers won't try to get back into that space from the outside. So it doesn't look awful. I mean, there was already a spot just like that was like maybe like 4 feet away underneath her bed. So knowing that there was a spot like that, it didn't make me feel too bad that I was able to mimic that same thing. So.
Alright, so we got Eastern yellow jackets going into this wall space, and they're already nutty, and they're kind of going in all kinds sorts of angles here. I located the nest inside the wall, so I'm going to get it out.
So this species is the eastern yellow jacket, Vespula maculifrons, and they are typically a subterranean nest-building yellow jacket species. But in some cases, like this one, they build nests inside of cavities, like inside of this wall structure of this garage. This client called me because they were finding tons of yellow jackets outside, and they needed this nest removed. So I was able to locate the nest from within the wall space, and then cut it out with a razor blade, and pull it out and vacuum everybody up. There was about 1,500 to 2,500 yellow jackets in this colony. It was absolutely booming. Here's the queen, was able to get her out of the nest, and just take her right over and put her in the vacuum nozzle and vacuum her up.
Alright, it's inside the vacuum. People always ask to see it. Dump it out.
Show me inside the vacuum. Show me inside the vacuum. Why don't you ever show it?
I do show it. Show it so much.
A bunch of little birdies. Hello, little birdies. Shibbedeep. 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 Good little birdies. What do you think, Uncle Jesse? Oh, it's actually Aunt Jessie and Uncle Becky. Alright, enjoy. I'm gonna go feed the big booties. And by big booties, I mean... Hello, sweetie booty. Hello, Doris. Ooh, wee wee. Oh, it's Henny Birdie. And a couple of the Hornets. And little red birdies. You coming over to join us, sweetie? Well, go ahead. It's just a plain Doris. What are you so afraid of? He's such a skittish birdie. It's a good girl, Doris. What a good girl, Doris. She's a good girl. Let's see if I can find you a good... Here we go. Here's a good one. I knew you like this one, Doris. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Good. What about this one? You want this one? These are eastern yellow jackets. I think you like those. Alright, well, enjoy, birdies.
Alright everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to check out this video. If you guys enjoyed this content, drop in the comments, let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions for future videos, something like see me cover in an upcoming video, also drop in the comments, let me know. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so and hit that bell notification down below, and that way you guys get an update anytime I do post a video. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video.